Hi everybody, welcome. Tammy from Tammy's Homesteading Crafts. Today we're in the kitchen and we are going to be doing a preserving video. As you can see behind me, I have a ton of apples on my kitchen table and I'm going to show you how I make my apple pie filling. If that is something that interests you, stick around. Okay, so before we get started with our video, let me welcome you all to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by and visiting my channel. I appreciate every one of you that stopped by and watch my videos, subscribe to my channel, and also like and comment on my videos. For those of you who this might be the very first video you're watching, I hope you enjoy the content. And if you have not subscribed to my video, please consider doing so. It does not cost anything for you to subscribe to a YouTube channel, and it does help the creators to benefit with YouTube if you subscribe to their channel. Also, if you want to know when a new video comes out for me, ring that bell. That will allow you to get a notification when a new video comes out. Okay, so let's get into our video. Let's look at the apples that we have on our table that we're going to use for our apple pie filling. These ones are Northern Spies. Then we have some Ida Reds, and then we have some Gala apples. I'm going to mix them all together to get a really good flavor for pie filling canned apples. The Northern Spies are really good for applesauce, apple pies. They're really tart, got a lot of good flavor. Your Ida Reds are a good eating and also a good pie apple. They're just a little tart, really make a good apple pie. And then your Galas are really good sweet eating apples and very crunchy. But I want to use them all together to try to just get a really good consistency of some apples. So that's where we're going to start with our apples. The second thing that we're going to do is you want to get a food grade bucket, and you want to fill it with about 3 gallons of water and a cup of lemon juice. This is we are going to use to put our apples in there once we peel them. And also you will put ice in there because you want it nice and cold to be able to keep the apples crisp while they are in there. But that's what we're going to do for that. We will get our apples going. I have a nice little apple peeler that I'm going to use to try to get this peels, slices, and then all I have to do is cut them in half and do that. So we're going to get our apples going so that we can get them ready to go into the quart jars. My jars are washed. They're in the oven, ready to and getting warm so that I can get them ready to put in. I will put water in both of my canners and I will let that on low and get that started to warm up to temp. It's going to take a little bit to peel all these apples. Going to get a bunch of them done and put through. I usually try to make as many quarts of apple pie filling and then quarts in the same amount in just canned apples. So that's my plan. I pack my jars with the apples cold and put the hot filling over top of the quart jars. But that's where we're going to start. I will show you what, when I do the filling, what we do with that. So let's start getting our apples done. So when you put your apples in your bucket, you want to make sure you're just making sure that they go under the water so that they can all get some of the lemon water on them. It'll allow them not to turn brown as fast. They're still going to turn a little bit brown because when they get to the air, they turn brown. There's not much you can do about it, but you can keep them from turning super brown by making sure that they get the lemon water on them. Next thing, let me show you what I'm going to do for my filling. So I have my apple pie filling in the pot here, starting to get warm. It is the recipe, and I will put the recipe below. It is 10 cups of water, a cup of cooking starch, and that is usually, they say a Clear Jel. This actually, once you start cooking it, the lumps will go away. Not like flour and cornstarch that the lumps don't always go away. With the Clear Jel, because it is cooking, starch will dissolve once it gets warm. And then it is 4.5 cups or 4.25 cups. Let me look at the recipe. 4.5 cups of sugar. And then you have 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and then of course your lemon juice, in 3 tablespoons of lemon juice in your mixture here, and then of course some salt. Go ahead and put this on the stove and get this to warm so that it'll thicken up once it gets starting to get warm. I only have mine on 2 or 3 because I'm still cooking a lot of apples, and I just want it to go really slow to get warm. The water was really cold when I put it in here, and that's probably why the Clear Jel lumped up as much as it did. But yeah, it will dissolve once you get it into once it gets warm. But get that going. Let that start to get so that it's thicker. And then, of course, your jars are in your oven or wherever you can get them to get warm. I'm going to get the canner going with some water on another burner here so that I can at least get them going. As soon as I get this warm, I will be able to pour some of this over the apples that I have going. You need to put this in for a water bath for 25 minutes for quarts with a water bath canner. So we're going to get that going. Like I said, I'm going to get this. I want it slow going to heat up. It's just starting to get warm, the pot itself. I'll get some water going and I'll keep plugging away at the apples over here. I would like to get them all off the table today. That's the goal. There's a lot of apples there, but I want to get a good mixture of apples there so that I can actually have a good pie filling. But then I'm just going to take the jars out of the oven, put them in with cold raw apples, and then pour this over top of it. When I go to make my just canned apples, after I get this done and it's in the canner, I will just make that many things of canned apples because I really, I just want an extra jar of apples to go with my pie filling, just so that I have the extra apples inside the jars or inside my pie. So I will show you what's going on when we get a little bit further. We can tell it is almost hot enough. It doesn't really need to be boiling. It just needs to be hot to go over the apples. And you can tell because there's very little stuff left that needs to cook out. Once that's all gone, it's definitely hot enough to pour over the apples. So we are almost there to get that hot enough to pour over the apples. Let me show you what I've done with the apples so far. Okay, I got 7 jars out of the oven. They're warm to put my apples into. I put apples into them, then I'm just going to pour filling over top of them till it covers the apples. It'll go down around all the apples and cover the apples. Then I will put my seals and rings on them and put them in my canning jar or canner to get them started to process. I'll know once I'm done here how many more quarts I can do with the filling that I have. I've got 7. That's what it says to do for one batch. I made a batch and a half. So we will see. We should get possibly 3, maybe 4 more quarts, depending on the number of apples I put in here and how much liquid goes around them. Might be able to get a few more out of the deal. Still have quite a few apples left that I need to get cut up, but we'll see. Maybe we'll be eating some of them. We might be making a pie later today or a crisp or something just to try to get rid of some of the apples. But I still have quite a few that I've already cut up. Don't want to cut too many up, but I do need to fill jars so that I have them for just canned apples. Okay, so that is where we're at. I will not show you the whole process of using the canner. I'll link those directions, that video below, so that you guys can see that, because I've already done setting up the canner, water bath, all of that kind of stuff. But that's where we're at. I do have another water bath canner that I can get going as soon as I have my sauce warm enough that I can pour over these, and then I can start getting things ready in the other canner and get them going, and then also get my apples going. So I will show you the process when we get it going. So once you have the filling in the jar, you want to definitely take the time to run a knife around the inside of the jar just to make sure there are no air bubbles. This will allow the filling to get all the way down into the bottom of the jar around everything and allow that to cook. Wipe off the tops of your jars so there's no stickiness, so that you can make sure that your jars will seal, but then get them ready and go into the canner. But that's what it looks like once you have it all ready. Make sure that your apples and filling are not more than a ½ inch below the top of the jar. Well, things got a little carried away when I was doing this, and I wasn't able to film as I finished up everything, but we ended up getting 11 quarts of apple pie filling and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 quarts of apples. So they all sealed. They're all ready to get marked and put into the canning cellar so that we have them when we want to make an apple pie, apple crisp, whatever. But that was it for canning the apples. Hope you guys enjoyed. Well guys, that was it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed going through the process of me making my apple pie filling. It is something that I make quite often and I use on a regular basis. It's really nice to be able to go downstairs to the pantry, grab a jar of pie filling, grab a jar of extra apples, bring them upstairs and either do a pie, do an apple crisp, one or the other. It's a really quick, easy, put together dessert in a rather short amount of time. I don't have to go to the store. I don't have to go buy apples. I don't have to peel them again. I mean, they're already done. So yeah, this is something, if you guys are looking to have a whole bunch of apples to preserve, this is a way to preserve them other than making applesauce. Now applesauce is really, really good, and we do make a lot of applesauce. It just happens to be that we still have a lot of applesauce downstairs, and we're on our last jar of pie filling. So that just lets us know that we can start making some more pies or crisp or whatever it is that we want to make. But it works out really, really nice by having the 2-quart jars. Usually it takes more than 1 quart to fill a 9-inch pie. So it works out to be able to do a jar of pie filling and a jar of apples. Mixing the two together gives me a good thick amount of fruit in my pies. So that is it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed, consider doing so. It does benefit us by subscribing to our channel. Okay, I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day. Bye.